AM 590, KXSP Omaha's ESPN Radio. It's time for the Front Stretch, brought to you by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Online at joeskarting.com.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning on the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Booking, prices, hours, and so much more. It's all located online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. You can give them a call today, 712-256-5278. Today, we're going to file the infield report with Andrew Kaziski in Turn 4. In Turn 3, we're going to sit down with Jace Kaiser. What car does he drive again? It's been a while since I've talked about Jace.
He is the number 15, super late model and crate late model. He is our Nebraska, leading the Nebraska State Championship right now in the Premier Division.
Awesome. So we're
in
going
NASCAR, right?
Correct.
We're going to sit down and talk with him in Turn 3. Turn 2, as always, it's the Fast Five stories that are dominating the NASCAR world. But before we get to all of that, let's recap Loudon at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. A bit of a green flag race again, as we've been seeing a lot this season, but there was a lot of different storylines that evolved from this race. Some mistakes that cost two drivers wins, and both of them at Joe Gibbs Racing. I think Kyle Busch at the early part of the race definitely had the car to beat, but because of a pit road penalty for speeding and then a pit road issue where the rear tire changer dropped two lug nuts, he goes from leading back to, I believe, about 22nd. So he took a big hit in the ranks there for position in that very first green flag stop. So a very costly penalty for those guys, a very costly issue. They go all the way to the back, and then Denny Hamlin just shows that he's definitely got the car and dominated the race. I believe he led upwards of 150 laps, so got the bonus point for leading the most laps. He led 5 times throughout the day. Had the fastest laps, had the fastest everything, but again, a miscommunication, and you can hear it when you listen to the replay. I've been listening to it on YouTube and on the TV and stuff. That when he came in about ready to set up for his final green flag stop, what ended up being the final green flag stop, he asked Darian what were the changes they were going to make. Darian said, we're going to go 2 tires. Denny then said that I need as much grip as you can get me. It seems to go away later in the run, so I need grip, I need grip, I need grip. Darian took that as, I want 4 tires. Everyone else took 2. Denny took 4, gets marred back in traffic in the 14th position. Then as they're out there just kind of running through the final laps, he's talking to Darian saying, okay, what happened there? I thought we were going 2 tires. And then Darian explained, I thought you said you wanted 4. Is this just new crew chief, new driver, still working on communication?
I don't think it's new crew chief. Well, yeah, it is new crew chief, new driver. I mean, if I'm Denny and I'm telling Darren, hey, look, I need all the grip I can get, give me as much grip as you can get. To me, in my way of thinking, I'm going to give you 4 tires.
Yeah, I don't see that either of them were wrong. Well, I mean, I guess, clarification, it always comes down to when you decide to make a change like that, and that's a big change. I mean, at Loudon, you switch from 2 to 4 tires, that's a lot of positions. I mean, we saw it. It was 14 positions, ended up costing him the win, and, maybe you need to clarify on that a little bit, but I don't think Darian was really much in the wrong, even though he kind of seemed to take the bullet for Denny, and that Denny said, I need more grip, and Darian, okay, let's go 4 tires then.
Well, obviously, when it comes down to it, the crew chief is going to have to take all the blame on this. But I'm like you. I don't see where there's really right or wrong on either side of the fence. I just, like you said, I think it was just a matter of miscommunication and no clarity there.
Yeah, and eventually they're going to get this worked out. But
oh yeah,
by no means are those two having a lot of issues this season. I think this is just the first we've been able to kind of pinpoint. Now, this may be a little bit of still haven't really worked out each other's cadences quite yet.
Not yet.
Casey Kane then takes over the lead after that caution flag in the final stops and goes on to dominate the end of the race. Definitely had a fast car, but I don't think he had the fastest car. Led 66 laps on the day and takes home the checkered flag. Gets himself his second win of the season and jumps up into 12th. He is now going to take over as the first car for the bonus because he is the first car outside of the top 10 with more than one win. So Carl Edwards still doesn't have a win, and then Kyle Busch. So Kyle Busch and Casey Kane will then be your 11th and 12th place chase contenders, which here in a little bit I want to start talking more in depth about the race for the chase. chase in this bubble and wild card, because this is getting interesting now.
So you got to be. Let's clarify this chase a little bit. So 11th and 12th are your wild cards.
Wild cards, with
but
a
13th
W.
on back by points. If you're not in the top 12, you're just not in the chase.
Okay, if 1st through 10th, you're in on points.
Yep, I understand
points
that.
alone. 11th and 12th, you're then in on wins to start with. If there's a tie, then it's where you end up, where you have the points after that. So as it stands right now, Carl Edwards is 11th in points, but he would not make the chase because Casey Kane is 12th in points with 2 wins. Kyle Busch is 13th in the points with 1 win. So they would then jump over Carl. They would be in the chase. Now, here's where 11th and 12th need to really be careful. If someone like, let's say, Brad Keselowski, who's got 3 wins, he wants to make sure he finishes in the top 10 with those 3 wins, because if he finishes in the top 10 with those 3 wins, then he gets to use those as bonus points. And him and Tony Stewart would be tied for the points lead going into the first chase race. If you're 11th and 12th, you essentially use those wins to get you into the chase. You don't get to use them as bonuses. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So it's going to get really interesting. I know that Brad Keselowski is, he's got himself a pretty comfortable lead over 11th. So I unless there's a catastrophic failure, I don't see those guys dropping out of the top 10. But Carl Edwards, and we got a big story about Carl Edwards coming up in turn 2 about, we'll save the story for a little bit later, but he's in trouble. I think it's safe to say Carl Edwards needs to be worried because he has done absolutely nothing this season. And we're 6-7 races till the chase, and he's got a lot of work to do.
Which I'm kind of shocked, but I mean, we're talking about how Kansas leaving Roush, not leading. Him and Biffle are up front running in points, and then you got Carl, who's just been down this year compared to last year, where he was a championship contender, and he's really like, he ain't going to make the chase. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think he'll make the chase at all.
He's got someone get in there, but Casey Kane and Kyle Busch, I see them both possibly winning another race here.
I see Carl Edwards actually making the chase, and if I remember right, last year, Old Smoke wasn't doing that well going into the chase, and who came out last year's champion?
Well, the thing is that Tony at least showed sparks throughout the season. He won at Las Vegas. He had great finishes at Loudon, at Kansas, not Kansas, but he had great finishes throughout the season. Good top 10s, good top 5s. As far as Carl Edwards is concerned, 1 pole, 2 top 5s, 9 top 10s, and 1 DNF. That doesn't cut the cake. When you've got, we're 20-some races into it, we're 19 races into it, and he's only been in the top 10 9 times.
Look at who's sitting number 6 in points, and look at his stats. Not that big a difference.
But he's consistent in the top 5 and top 10 area, where Carl's outside the top 10, it seems like every week, and again, 18th this week.
And I think the thing that hurts Carl more than is hurting Kevin Harvick, who you referenced was sitting in 6th place, is that when Carl is bad, they're really bad. We're not talking bad 15th or 20th. We're talking outside of the top 20.
35th.
When it's bad, it's been really bad for those guys, and that's what's really hurt them. Other drivers that are in the wild card hunt, Ryan Newman is the next driver in 14th place with 1 win. Joey Logano in 16th place with 1 win. And so those are your drivers that are still in the fight for the wild card. Now, outside of the top 20, doesn't matter if you've got a win or not. You have to be in the top 20, and you have to be the highest ones to be able to use your wins to get you into the bonus. So Ryan Newman and Joey Logano are the only drivers. Now you see Jeff Gordon sitting there in 17th. He's, again, one of those guys that's just had a horrible season. Not that they're not working on all cylinders, not that they're really doing much of anything wrong, but just simply the fact that they've had the worst luck I've seen any driver. He walks away this weekend with a 6th place finish. Is Jeff Gordon going to make the chase?
No.
I don't think he's going to. I'm going to agree with Andrew. I say no, but you're saying we're 6-7 races in, before we go into the first race of the chase. If he can, do 5 top 3s, he might be there.
That's not going to do it alone. I mean, you've got to get past Kyle Busch, and you've got to get past Casey Kane.
And I don't see that happening.
We've been talking about this since the bad luck happened at week 5, at week 6, week 7, and he was all the way down in 27th in points. He has got to win 2 or 3 races. 2 races. I don't think 2 races is gonna cut it.
I don't think, because Casey Kane's going to get another win here before the chase. He's on a tear right now.
And I think Kyle Busch is going to get a win too. They've gotten some of their issues corrected, and he's fast again. I don't see Jeff Gordon making the chase, and that's shocking to say that guy would not make the chase.
No, I mean, not having Jeff Gordon in the chase is like not having chocolate fudge on your vanilla ice cream. It just don't go.
And I heard this question, and I want to hear your guys' opinions about it. I heard it earlier in the week. If Carl Edwards and Jeff Gordon don't make the chase, does it make the chase that less interesting?
Not at all.
No, I think it makes it more exciting because you're so used to seeing guys like that, and now we have new blood, and I'm not even saying new blood, but not blood that's in there every single year. So it adds to the excitement and drama, I think.
I'm glad. I actually agree with both of you guys. I think all three of us, this is the first time in history that we've all agreed. So, that whole Mayan calendar thing, that may be coming right. So, it may be coming true at the end of the year. December 20th, just mark your calendars. Thank God the end of the season will be...
It's December 21st, 2012.
Is it 21st? Okay, well, it may have gotten a little bit closer now that we all three agreed. So
your Mayan calendar worked, but my and Andrew's calendar works pretty good.
So we both agree that the thing is that this is a different animal. In all other sports, you've got your dominating teams. In baseball, you've got the Yankees, the Red Sox, and now and then in football, you've got the Patriots and the Giants and the Cowboys. And when those teams aren't in the playoffs, it does lose viewers. But the thing is that for NASCAR fans, we're not just fan of one driver. We've got about 4 or 5 that we enjoy, but one's our favorite. So for me, if you and I have talked about a lot that if Tony Stewart doesn't make he's our favorite driver. If he doesn't make the chase, I may lose a little bit of interest in it because my guy's not in it, but I'm going to find 1 or 2 drivers that I want to root for, and I'm still going to watch those last 10 races. And it's not going to diminish the racing at all because they're still on the track. And, someone like Tony, the time that he didn't make the chase, he rattled off 3 wins that season during the chase.
The one driver in the top 12 right now, I can tell you that's making me stand up and shake the wrinkles out of my drawers is that 55 machine of Clint Boyer.
55?
You mean 15?
15, yep. See, there you go.
Truex is running good, though.
Yeah,
Mark Truex sitting 8th in the points.
But Clint Boyer, I mean, I never really thought of Clint Boyer. So to see somebody new like Clint Boyer, and I know he's been in the chase before, but he's having a really good year. He's driving aggressive. Michael Waltrip Racing's running really good this year.
I think really good's an understatement.
Yeah.
Those guys, for what they did last season, coming on and what they're doing this season, it's night and day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they were horrible last season, but they just weren't competitive. And Clint Boyer and Mark Martin are both competitive. And that 55 car driven by Mark Martin or Brian Vickers, those two, it doesn't matter who hops in that 55 car. It's good.
Oh, yeah.
I think I could drive it. So that's kind of a breakdown of Loudon and the points brought to you by the Auto Connection in Lincoln, 21st and P Street. Triple-digit temperatures just around the corner. I keep reading that, and we've had 3 straight weeks of 90-plus and several days in a row of 100-plus. There is absolutely no relief in sight.
Yeah, the time of this recording, when I was heading over here, it was 104 degrees on the console of my truck.
It's ridiculous, and so you've got to, if you haven't done it yet, I'm sorry, but you just got to get off your ass and get in there, get your cooling system up to snuff, and get your AC system fully flushed, and get yourself some new Freon in there, because let me tell you what, get yourself some new Freon in there. You'll be cold before you get home. So get to the guys at Auto Connection, 21st and P Street, 402-477-8200. You can also go online, autorepairlincolnne.com. Well, turn 2's around the corner. We're going to do the Fast 5. We're going to talk about the 5 stories that are dominating the NASCAR world. This is The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.